Hi everybody, and welcome to the Monday edition of Facebook Live Online Recovery Support Group. So my name is Kelly Kirk, and I am a peer support specialist in Richmond County, North Carolina. And I'm going to read our little introduction really quick. Welcome to the Facebook Live Online Recovery Support Group, supported by the Sandhills Opioid Response Consortium. This is a forum where people in recovery can come together. We are here to encourage and support individuals in their recovery journey by sharing our own experience, strength, and hope. Our meetings consist of daily readings, meditations, devotionals, and open discussions. We only ask that when sharing, you adhere to the rules and guidelines of this page. All recovery paths are welcome, and please feel free to share your questions or comments throughout the meeting. So my name is Kelly Kirk. And like I was saying, I am a peer support specialist and recovery coach in Richmond County, North Carolina. And we are doing these Facebook Lives to support people in their recovery since, everything's closed because of the COVID and we're not really having meetings like we were having. We're trying to do something virtual. So if anybody wants to talk or has any comments or urgent needs or anything like that, I would love for you to let me know by typing it in. And I'm going to be checking my comments here on my other computer because I'm on my phone here. So anyway, today I wanted to talk about the importance of goal setting in recovery. And I'm a huge proponent of having goals. I think it keeps you on the right track in your life, and it can even help define who you are after you get off of drugs or alcohol. So when you're talking about someone who has an addiction, you're most likely talking about someone whose life is out of control, was out of control, or it's getting out of control. And whether you're in a 12-step program or you believe in the 12-step program, or basically for anyone that's struggling with addiction, the first step is to admit that you've got a problem, that there's a problem there. And usually the second step is to seek help. And whether you wean yourself down on your own, whether you stop cold turkey, whether you go into an inpatient treatment or start an outpatient program or go see a doctor for some medicated assisted treatment, whatever way that you go to get help, I think the next thing you should do when you're done with that is set some goals for yourself. Goals can help define who you are going to be from now on. If you're off of drugs and alcohol, then you basically have a clean slate. You can be whoever you want to be. You can, if you work at it, you can become whoever you want to become. And having goals is a great reminder of what's important to you and of what you should be working towards. And then if your life starts to, get a little bit derailed or get off track, you just go back to your goals that you created, and that helps you to stay focused and stay, on that path that you want to be on. So I think one of the first things you have to decipher the difference between dreams and goals, right? Big difference. Dreams are thoughts of things that you might like to have someday. Dreams are always pleasant, and they don't have any kind of timeline attached to them. And usually in dreams, there's no effort on your part. You don't have to work towards them. They just magically happen, right? So, but a goal is something that you want to accomplish in a tangible, measurable way. It has some type of time frame for completion, even if that's, months or years away in the future. And to achieve a goal, you'll need to put in the effort and do some work, unlike a dream. So, setting goals for yourself in recovery. Each person's recovery is as individual as they are and as unique as they are. There's no one size fits all approach that works for everybody, and there shouldn't be. because no one else has your unique background or your history of use, or not everyone has the same reasons that they use, drugs or alcohol that you do. And it doesn't make sense for your treatment program to look like anyone else's. So the goals that you set for yourself during recovery will be unique to you and what you want for yourself. So let's talk about the benefits of goals, because there's a lot of benefits to setting goals and having goals. The first one is that goals require self-examination. In order to set goals for yourself in recovery, you must take the time to think about what's most important to you and where do you see yourself down the line. How do you want to be spending your time? What do you want to accomplish exactly? Do you want to get a degree, or do you want to get a certain job, or do you want to be a good mom, or whatever it is? They require you to stop and think about yourself and maybe what it would take to get you to this goal, and what are some things that you're going to have to do to get to your goal. So they require self-examination, which I think is a good thing, to stop and kind of examine yourself. Goals require positive thinking. Successful goal setting means you visualize your future in a good light. And now that you're pretty much getting off the drugs and alcohol, you can pretty much be whoever you want to be. It depends on how much work you want to put in, or how patient you are, or what your goals are. But, if you have, there's some limitations. Like if you have, small kids at home, or if you have a criminal record, then it's going to be a little bit harder because you're going to have to work around some things. But you can still, you can tweak everything, and you can work things out, based on your limitations. But you have to factor that in. But you don't want your goals to be just like stop drinking or stop using drugs. Think action words. And your goals don't have to be long term. You can set a goal for just one day. And you can have more than one goal. You can have multiple goals for different things. Another benefit of goals is that goals help to shift your personal mindset. So chances are it's been a long time since you've thought about anything to do with yourself in a positive way, if you've been addicted. When you're addicted, you're mostly thinking about the here and now. You're not thinking about, what can I be one day? Because you're preoccupied with your addiction. And I think a lot of times when we're in addiction, we kind of let our goals go, or we just be like, I'm never going to be able to do that, and you kind of just let all that slide. So it's like when you get into recovery, you can pick those things back up again, or you might want to do something you never thought of before. But when you set goals, it helps you change your view of yourself. And it helps you see yourself as a capable, stronger, more competent person. It's all in how you look at things in life. And think about what you can do, not what you can't do. So the next thing is goals help you to focus on the future. And I say this all the time, and I have to tell myself this all the time, that there's nothing I can do about the past. There's nothing I cannot go back in time and change things. I can't change things that I've done. I can't change things that people have done to me. And so I try my hardest to not focus on the past. I try to focus on the future. And when you have goals, that forces you to think about the future. And goals are positive and forward thinking. So there's no downside to having goals. I'm big time goal advocate over here. But setting personal goals in recovery gets you focusing on making changes that will shape your future. And in active addiction, like I was saying, we don't think about that much. But now, if you're not using and you're not spending all your money and your time on drugs and alcohol, you've got more time, you've got more money, you know, you've freed yourself up. So you can focus on remembering, you know, what you wanted to be back in the day. And like, you know, if you wanted to be a nurse or something, you know, you could go back into that as long as you don't have like a felony. And if you have a felony, there's still lots of options. It's just a little harder. But, you know, don't give up on your dreams because you got sidetracked by addiction. You know, you can go back and you can pick that stuff back up and just keep on going. So, yeah, and there might even be things that you never even thought of before you got into addiction. You know, like helping other people. So a good way to make good goals is to remember this acronym, SMART goals, S-M-A-R-T. SMART goals stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Hi Jillian, hi Shay. If you stick to this format when you're writing your goals, you'll have good goals. So the first one is specific, meaning that a goal should set out what is to be done and a time frame for completing it. Like if you set as your goal continue my education, that's really not a legit goal. It needs to be more like complete necessary academic paperwork to enroll in a college program majoring in whatever by such and such date. That way you're laying out in your goal what exactly you need to do and by when do you need to do it. Because if you just say continuing my education, then that's so vague and there's no like instructions in that goal for you to follow. And so, you know, you're most likely not going to pick up on that goal if you don't lay out how you need to do it. So being specific is important. The next one, M, measurable. You need to be able to measure your progress in your goal. And you can break a goal down into steps. Like if your goal is to get a job, you can elaborate on that by breaking them into steps. You could be like, okay, first I need to figure out the start and end dates for all my past jobs. Then I need to, step 2, find a free resume program online and make a resume. Step 3, sign up for NC Works online. Step 4, search for jobs online. Step 5, check all available jobs once a day. And then you can measure your progress and it's not so overwhelming because you broke it up into smaller steps. And you can measure it. You can see how far along you are. Well, I've done 1 through 3, so, you know, I feel good about that. So you can measure your goal. That's important. The next one is make sure it's achievable. Make it something that's not impossible. Like, don't say my goal is to buy a new car if I don't have the money to buy a new car. That's not achievable. Maybe say I'm going to save $100 a week and get a newer used car for now. And that way I'm not setting myself up for failure by having some goal that's not achievable. The next one is R, for relevant. The goal you set for yourself must be something that's important to you in some way. It should be something that betters you somehow or something that you need to get done. You don't want to spend your time pursuing something that isn't going to be a good thing for you. I is for identify any obstacles in reaching your goals. So no matter what your goal is, you're bound to run into some obstacles. I mean, it happens constantly in life. And so if you're already kind of prepared for those roadblocks, they won't hit you as hard. You know, you can just kind of figure that things are going to come up. And if you set your mind that no matter what happens, you're going to work through it. You're going to come up with an alternative. You're going to adjust. Then, you know, it's not so like upsetting and stops you in your tracks if you've already kind of set your mind that things might come up. And, you know, just kind of expect the unexpected and roll with it. The next one is make a schedule for your goals. And having goals is great, but you really have to put them into action. And like for me, having a calendar really, really helps me. I mean, really helps me. And that way I can make time for what's important to me, and I can schedule it in. And if there's some steps to my goals that I need to get done this month, I can go ahead and pick a day and write them in my schedule. Because if you don't do that, you know, for what you need to do, things will come up and you'll end up procrastinating, and then your goals are just like, they're never going to get done if you don't put them in your schedule and schedule them for a specific time and day. And then also the next one is make lists. This is one that I do a lot. I make lists for everything, for the grocery store, for chores I need to do, for repairs, just whatever. I like making lists because lists keep you focused on what you should be doing. And when you have a list, you know, you can start chipping away and getting a few things done. And you can even like make them really small steps so that you can, you know, start marking some of them out. Because when you start crossing some things out on your list, it makes you feel good. It's like, you know what, I'm getting some stuff done. You know, I'm making some progress. And I know what I do is when I get about 4 or 5 things crossed off, I'll like make a fresh list. I'll start over. And usually by then there's a couple of new things I need to add. So, hang on. Okay, so make lists, I did that. Okay, another good thing about goals is, hang on, I already said that. I do SMART goals. Make a schedule for your goals. Yep. Prioritize your goals. So after you've made goals and you've made lists, you need to prioritize your goals. Because some goals need to be more flexible, and some that are maybe more important or urgent might be like non-negotiable. So make sure also, this is important, that some of your goals are about your recovery, because you need to make sure those are priorities on your goals. Like if you're going to meetings, you need to make sure you schedule it into your life. Make sure you go to your meetings, make sure you see your counselor, make sure, you know, if you have a sponsor that you're calling your sponsor, keep your doctor's appointments. You know, if you told yourself you're going to read the Bible or the big book or something at night, you know, try to do that and stick to it and stick to your schedule. So I think and I know for me, this is true, if you have goals and you stick to your goals and you break them down into baby steps and chip away at them, make lists of the things you need to be doing and your responsibilities, and you know, even grocery lists or lists of things you need to get done around the house or whatever it is. And the third one is, for me, that's really important, is keeping a calendar. That helps me stay on track, on task. It helps me get done the things I need to get done. So between the goals, the lists, and the calendars, that's a good way to kind of structure your life in recovery. And make sure, like I said, that you take care of your recovery goals. That's the most important thing in your recovery, is that you're taking care of yourself. So that is all I have for today. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.